First of all, Sandra, welcome to the Front Porch.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Front Porch with Brian Beaudry.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I don't know everything about you. So we'll start off with who are you and where are you from?
My name is Sandra Carreiro. I'm the controller with Bercon Rentals. We are a heavy equipment rental company out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Yay, us. And we specialize in aerial work platforms from the smallest of 19-foot scissor lifts to 180-foot booms.
Okay, so you measure them in feet up in Canada, even though...
Yes,
Okay.
we do. That is the one thing, honestly, that typically it is referred to in feet. Maybe
Okay.
it's because we purchased them from the U.S.
Interesting.
and that's how they're rated.
Okay. And we usually do a little quick question at the beginning. So what's one suggestion that you'd give a friend in the industry who isn't a direct competitor for 2024?
Invest in your people,
Okay.
especially your operations staff. Those are your front-facing, your customer-facing people, and they're the ones that represent you when they are either out delivering or servicing your equipment, taking the calls over the phone, providing them with a safe, healthy environment is key. You know, everybody wants to come to work and enjoy it. That's where you spend most of your time.
That's true. All right, that's good advice. Now, I need a suggestion for someone who's like a friend of me. So you're not like actual enemies, but maybe they're kind of in your market, and you want advice that sounds good, but maybe it's okay if it doesn't work out.
Oh, man. I don't have a mean bone in me to do that.
It's okay. You don't actually have to. I just like to see if someone's willing to go there.
No, I couldn't do that.
Okay.
I mean, there's, you know what, honestly, there's
I don't know.
enough
That's why it
business
feels
for,
like you have it.
there's enough business for everybody, but, you know, like what could I say? Oh, maybe you're not charging enough for this. You gotta increase your rate a little bit.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to go back in time. We're going to start off with, did you grow up wanting to be a controller? When you were a kid and they were asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I can't imagine too many kids say, I want to be a controller.
I wouldn't say specifically controller because I had no idea what that
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
But I did know very early on that I wanted to be in finance and accounting.
Okay.
Before I graduated high school, I targeted all my classes, you know, towards business administration. My first accounting class was in high school, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, believe that or not. But
I
so
feel
I
like
always
there's a
knew
very
that.
specific type of person who is like, yes, I'm just all in on accounting. So that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
And I was the geek.
Was there any time, like, is there a story of like little Sandra and that your parents tell about you when they knew that you were kind of, yeah, she's headed down this accounting path?
I don't know that they would have said I'm headed down the accounting path, but they always knew I was very studious. Although conversely, what they probably would have said more often is, my God, would you stop talking? Because I used to get a lot that I did well in school, but I was easily distracted and talked too much.
Did you get, so you got like those notes on your report card where it's like, Sandra needs to stop talking in class?
Yeah. But she talks too much.
Okay, well, hopefully it hasn't all been like scared out of you and you're going to continue talking throughout this interview because otherwise it'll be
No,
awkward.
I don't think it ever could, as you probably notice once I get started. That's it.
All right, good. So accounting, you can do that pretty much in any kind of business.
Yes.
How did you end up in the rental industry?
I actually started off in public accounting,
Okay.
straight out of college. And I worked for one of the international accounting firms, and one of our clients for the partner I worked for was the current company that I work at now, at Bercon, in our first iteration. And I had worked with a CA firm for 7 years. And behind the scenes, I guess they were having conversations about, do you think Sandra would be interested in joining us? There was another controller at the time, and they approached me, and I said, well, I'm not going to ask my partner. I think there's a bit of a conflict of interest here. I said, I'm not getting in the middle of this. I really like the partner I work for, and if this goes south, I want to be able to come back.
Yeah.
But they had a really good relationship, so the owners approached the partner and let them know their intention. I spoke with the partner. It was all good. And that's how I fell into the rental industry. And I actually have an excellent relationship with the partner still to this day, who is still the accountant on file. So I work with the company that I used to work for.
So it's an interesting setup. So basically, what had you interested in switching at that point?
I wanted more, and also I think I wanted to diversify my knowledge of accounting. When you're in public accounting, you touch on various industries because you get sent out to different clients to do their year end, but you never focus and really learn one from beginning to end, full circle. So when I had this opportunity, I thought, well, this is an opportunity to learn something new. And also what provided me, I knew that I would get more growth moving out of there. It had kind of plateaued where I was. So this was a great, I thought maybe it would just be a stepping stone, but it ended up being, a career with this organization. I started as a staff accountant and then moved into an AP supervisory role, covered for the controller while she was on mat leave. And then I did leave the rental industry for a few years, not long enough to forget. And then when the owners asked me to come back to the company, it just felt right.
Okay. Well, we have a few boomerang employees here at Point of Rental as well. So sometimes it's a case where it's like, okay, I can go back now.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to the environment of the company if someone leaves and then wants to come back, if they've left on good terms and, hey, feel free to come back, or you feel comfortable coming back. Yeah. I think that says a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just curious. I know nothing about accounting in either aspect of anything. What's different about accounting in, like, say, the rental industry versus maybe other industries?
Oh my gosh, where do we start? Well, with so many industries, like if you're looking at retail, it's a one-time transaction. You buy your pants, you pay for them, you're out the door. You're not coming back. You're not an on-account customer racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars. With the rental industry, I had to learn about short and long-term rentals, the different types, the impact. What are the requirements that we ask customers? You don't just set up anybody on account. The whole, just the size of the industry as well, and how capital intensive it was. Like, I had no idea about that, and I thought I had actually made a mistake. When I came in, I thought, man, I'm dumb. I don't know anything about this industry.
I wanted to learn things, but not this many things.
It's like, wow, this is a lot. But as I got more comfortable with it, and I was very blessed with the company that I worked with, that they allowed me to kind of dip my hand into all the different operations of it and really learn it holistically. And that really helped me understand the accounting, how to account for it better and what to look for, because it is very detail oriented.
Yeah. Okay. Also, again, I just see accounting and I'm like, I'm scared of it. I'm scared of numbers.
Most people are.
Let me just stay out of this. So what's the difference between, like, a staff accountant and AP? What was it you said you did?
Accounts payable?
Yeah.
Or accounts receivable? Well, they're more specific roles. So your accounts receivable is focused on customer focused.
Okay.
on the maintaining the customer account, ensuring that we are collecting on our sales, reaching out to customers when hey, we rented you a lift 5 months ago, you haven't paid us, what's up? Trying to get that. Yeah. From an accounts payable side, it's the complete opposite. This individual is responsible for making sure that we pay our vendors.
Yeah.
Conversely, we want to get paid so we can pay our vendors, and we want to stay on their good books, and we don't want to be on hold. So it is the full circle. Whereas the staff accountant, they're kind of they take that information of everything that is going on, and they're working on what we call the month end, where they're now summarizing all the invoices that have been processed, all of our invoices to customers that have been processed to create the final product of a financial report.
Okay. So which position is the best? Is there personality types that are more suited towards one versus the other?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So who's
100%.
Describe your ideal accounts receivable person.
Had to be someone who's very outgoing.
It feels like you have to be comfortable asking for money.
Yes, you have to be comfortable having those conversations and building that rapport. So someone who's shy and doesn't like to be on the phone all the time, doesn't want to be interacting with customers, outside sales representatives, other staff. That if you're not that person, then don't do accounts receivable.
Okay.
Go do accounts payable. Accounts payable, you really, if you're doing your job well, the vendors aren't going to be calling you for money.
Okay.
You're more focused, heads down. It's very process driven. So a more quiet, reserved person would do well in that position.
Okay.
As well.
In general, it's just kind of like a balance between the.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
All right, I like it. So do you? It feels like, are you introverted or extroverted? And you just go ahead and meet people. It's like, are you a payable or receivable person?
I always think that I'm not an 100% good judge of character. Sometimes I doubt myself too much.
Okay.
But I think when you're trying to determine whether someone is good for AR or AP, you kind of have to look at, it's also their experience. You have to look at what they're interested in.
Yeah.
And go from there. And it really is a discussion. It's hard to feel out.
Okay. So what's your favorite part about working in the rental industry, as a whole?
I like the diversity. It is an industry of so many moving parts. It is a huge industry, billions and billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. But it's also a very small community within segments of the country, of the province, of the city. All the players. Mm-hmm. You know who your immediate competition is. Obviously everybody knows who the big three are. So it's kind of good. I like that. And it's always changing. There's, the latest product to test. And what's so-and-so buying? What are they getting into? Where do we want to make our niche?
Yeah.
And
And you get to see everyone all the time because there's all these events that you can go to and.
Yeah, I'm fun. I'm getting out there. Usually, I always say that they don't let the people out from accounting very often.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen too many accounting people. I don't have actual accounting questions normally here, so it's like, oh.
I've actually met some, which I was very surprised about. Wow, you brought your controller here? It's great. But for some of the especially the small and medium-sized organizations, the controller isn't just involved in the financing. 9 times out of 10, they're dealing with everything.
Okay, yeah, controller sounds very powerful. What does a controller do? Because you control things, I guess.
It's a terrible. I think it's a terrible word, controller. Trust me, we're not controlling anything.
Oh.
I see my role more as a supportive role in the organization, to ensure that everyone has the tools that they need to do their jobs efficiently, effectively, because what they do at the front affects what we see at the back. And if the information isn't flowing through to the finance department accurately, timely, that requires then a lot of our time to piece it out and to provide accurate reporting to our lenders, to our accountants. And you don't want to be that company where the lender or the accountant comes in and says, I'm sorry, but this doesn't make sense. Prove to me what you're telling me here.
Okay.
And if you don't have an answer, there is going to be a problem.
Okay.
And I'm very proud to say that have always been considered one of the best reporting companies, both with our lenders and with our accountant. So we try to ensure accuracy in everything that we do, and I think it's my responsibility to facilitate that.
Okay. So, you can tell me. So sometimes our accountants, they're really hounding us to do these expense reports. How much pain am I causing them when I maybe forget for a few days?
It could be because I'm sure that they are given a timeline for reporting.
Yeah.
So if at the end of the month, it's the end of September, they have 7 days to report, and Brian doesn't submit his reports, it's the 6th day, and we're still waiting for Brian's reports to process. I guess you don't want to get reimbursed for them. Fine.
Yeah.
They can't finish their work, and now they're going to be late.
Okay.
And then they're going to be on Brian's case going,
I understand
we
that.
don't like Brian.
They like me. I do always try to do that because I know that I also get really anxious when it's like, no, I have a thing I have to do. I have a thing I have to do. It's just constantly in my head, even if it's not my responsibility at that point. It's like,
because you recognize that it affects everyone else, and it really is a ripple effect. And so if everyone is doing their part, it just makes the whole process flow so much smoother.
okay, so everyone fill out your expense reports on time.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Are you involved in any of the purchasing decisions for Bercon?
Not the major purchasing decisions for the equipment. That's left to the ownership team.
Yeah.
Usually, I'm given a decent range, at least to provide a recommendation for when it comes to network upgrading, a lot of office administration. And then it's, I have obviously a certain budget that, I have within a certain range that I can approve. And then beyond that, I just need to seek approval from the ownership team. But
Okay.
I have some pretty good leeway.
All right, good. Well, I was going to ask, I usually like to ask equipment people or event people. It's like, hey, is there anything that you bought that you thought was going to rent really well and then it didn't? But
No, not me.
alternately. Yeah, okay. So
I can look at something and say, really, we're buying that? Okay.
is there anything that you reacted that way to and then it was like, oh, you see the numbers and it's like, hey, that was all right. Good job, guys.
No.
That's why they let you make the decisions, not me.
No. Might want to scratch that part out. Sorry.
Maybe they should consult you on purchasing decisions.
I don't know about that, but it was only once.
Okay. Do we want to get into it or no?
No, we don't.
Okay. Well, we won't. We're
I
not
don't
trying
know
to
if
get
he's
anyone in
gonna
trouble
watch
here. Okay. Okay. Before we get into some other questions, I want to break this up a little bit with a little game called Carreir-no or Carreir-no.
Okay.
If you agree with it or say yes, it's Carreiro, and if you disagree, obviously Carreir-no.
Okay.
All right. So
Do you want me to
Carreiro
answer?
or Carreir-no,
Okay.
you've cheated at a board game.
Carreir-no.
Okay. Are you very anti cheating at board games?
Yeah.
Do you take your board games very seriously?
Yeah, I'm a little competitive.
Okay. Well, sometimes the most competitive people are the people that are most likely to cheat.
No, see, I'm. And it goes back to being an accountant. It's black and
Yeah,
white.
I was going to say, I feel like.
Black and white.
Okay.
There's no cheating.
So in Monopoly, we can trust you to be the banker. And
100%.
All right, good. All right, Carreiro or Carreir-no, if you could find out how you were going to die, you would want to know. Again, this is not a threat.
Carreir-no.
Is there a reason? Or
I don't think it's up to me.
it's fair.
I'm sure there's a plan,
Okay.
and it'll be what it'll be.
It's probably a good way to approach it. Okay, Carreiro or Carreir-no, you've told an outrageous lie to a child.
Carreiro all day long.
Okay, yeah, I've noticed that recently people are definitely in favor of that. Why do you feel so? You're so black and white on following the rules in board games, but it's okay to lie to kids. Why is it okay to lie to kids?
I think you have to put it in perspective
Okay.
as to age appropriate to what information they need to know.
Okay.
And also, there are certain things that you just don't want to crush a child's imagination.
That's fair.
I'd say one of the things I've always said to my kids, and I tell people this all the time, and they end up saying, that's a great idea, even though it's a bold-faced lie. When, of course, you buy Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And, when am I going to wrap Christmas presents? You got kids toddling around, and I don't want to be wrapping Christmas presents at midnight, personally.
Yeah.
So when I would be wrapping their presents, and they saw me, they would ask who that was for. And I would tell them that Santa enlists parents to help them because the elves can't do it all,
Yeah. They
to
make
wrap
the toys.
presents for other children. And then he'll come and pick them up and take them. So I have no idea who this is for. I'm just helping the system, just giving Santa a hand. And they were fine with that. So it still helped them believe in Santa,
Yeah.
but they still didn't know that was for them.
I like it.
It's creative.
That is a good policy. And it also helps you, like, if they're really excited about it, it's like, yes, all right, I got that one.
Yeah.
And if they're not excited, it's like, oh.
She wrapped the wrong one.
All right. Carreiro or Carreir-no, there's something that you believe that no one else seems to agree with you about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this one's a trickier one.
It is tricky.
Do you find yourself in a lot of arguments and just trying to convince people? Like,
No.
okay.
So I'd say Carreir-no. No.
Okay. Carreiro or Carreir-no, you're all in on new technology like AI and augmented reality.
I'd say Carreir-no. I think we need to be careful. I think there's certain parts of it that we can embrace.
Yeah.
But it's very easily to be gotten in the wrong hands. That's a lot of power.
Agreed. Yeah, it's like, does everyone need to have this much power? I don't know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's those out there that just don't use it for probably its intended purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always a little concerned about when people are like, look at all the good things it could do. It's like, yeah, but there's also a lot of flip side to that.
100%.
Okay, well, thank you for participating in Carreiro or Carreir-no. I have no more
Oh, that was fun.
of those questions.
So, I wrote a song about a tortilla. Actually, it was a rap.
Let's start off with what's one trait that successful leaders have in common, in your opinion?
I don't know if they all have it in common. Would it be fair to kind of modify that to say what is a trait that a successful leader should have in common?
Sure.
I don't know if they all have it in common. I mean, I think most leaders are driven, but they're very good listeners.
Okay.
I think that's been my experience.
Yeah. I definitely hear that I listen to a lot of podcasts, and that's one of the things that gets brought up a whole lot of times.
Yeah. You have to really listen, and that will help you do your job effectively. Because as leaders, if you're not listening, you're really not going to know how to guide.
Yeah.
Because it's not always up to you to do something. Maybe you don't have to do anything, just listen, and the resolution might just present itself.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to give directions if you don't know, like, the direction that your car's already pointing or whatever.
Right.
How do I get there? Turn left. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about being able to come back to a place. It's a good reflection on that place's culture in general. What do you think? What are some of the keys to having a great company culture?
I think in an open, inclusive policy. We use empowerment a lot, that word, within the context of empowering our people to make decisions within their roles.
Yeah.
We don't need a rental coordinator to constantly be questioning whether, they can make a call as to whether a piece of equipment needs to be brought down from our other branch, or whether they can switch something out. We'll leave that to you. I think we also, one of the main things of our, we try not to take things too seriously. We're pretty lighthearted. I'm always wary of using the word family.
Yeah.
Because your work is not your family per se. I didn't coin the word, but a group of friends and I, we recently call ourselves Framily.
Okay.
Because we're really close friends within that context, so much so that we're family. And at Bercon, when push comes to shove, we all band together to do whatever it needs to get done to meet that end goal, either for the customer or for us internally.
Nice.
And you don't get that sometimes.
That's true. Yeah. Stress, it causes either people to grow together or to just shatter apart. So, what's an example of one of those times where like y'all had this challenge and you're like, let's go team? Or you're like,
I
Bercon
think we
Framily
had
activate.
we actually had a power outage. I think it was a year ago, and it lasted almost all day. And our phone lines went down, and at that time, we didn't have a backup phone line, so we couldn't even forward our calls to the answering service.
Yeah.
And one of our teammates said, "You know what? My mom has an analog phone, and I just live down the street. If you want, I can go get it, and we can just plug it in." And I'm like, "Okay." So she went home to her mom's house, got the phone. It was her old phone from her bedroom, this bright blue see-through phone.
Good.
It
I was
was
going to say, I
so
hope it's one of the
cute.
clear ones.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was so cute. And she brought it in, we plugged it in, and it worked. And while that was working, I went out to the store to make sure you can't even buy an analog phone. I went to 3 stores, couldn't find one. I ordered one on Amazon so that moving forward, should this happen again, we have one. But
You don't need to depend on her.
she really came through for us.
Yeah.
At that time. And it's, we all thought together, okay, well, what can we do?
Yeah, I think that's also a good result of like empowerment is everyone feels like, hey, I can do it. I can solve things too.
Yep. I can help here.
Nice. Okay, I've been asking everyone for a top 5 list. So your top 5 list can be about anything, and I should have done this in pre-production probably. Is warn you a little bit about it.
Oh, darn.
But I've come up with some suggestions, so we could do like top 5 point of rental reports, top 5 things an aerial lift business needs to do to be successful, top 5 things or qualities you need to have to be a successful controller or something like that. Maybe top 5 things you wish you knew to start your career. Top 5 tools for running a rental business, or it could be anything. Or we could get your top 5 books because you said you like books.
I can't remember my top 5 books I've
You
read.
don't have
I don't know
current,
how
you
many.
don't have a list?
I got a box full of them, Brian.
You're supposed to maintain a Google Doc with your top 100 favorite books.
Oh my God,
And
no.
constantly re-rate them.
I do have some that I save that I reread,
Okay.
but I've got a box that I got to go through.
Okay. Well, maybe in the future you can record your top 5 list.
We'll come back in a few years when I actually do that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How about we go with the top 5? What was it for? The top 5 successful rental business.
Yeah, top 5 things that an aerial business needs to do to be successful.
Just from my perspective, and not in any particular order.
Well, no, it has to be in order. That's what a top 5 list is. You start at 5 and you go to 1. I forgot to explain that. Normally, I explain how these top 5 lists needs to work. So your number 5.
Okay, let's start from the bottom.
Tip, yeah.
Okay.
Once you hear the number 1, why would you want to wait till number 5?
No.
So you gotta build up. All right. Number 5.
Number 5 would be customer focus.
Okay. Why do I need to be focused on a customer?
They're not number 1, but they're number 2, because the number one will affect this.
Okay. Also, we just established they're number 5 right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, they are. If you don't deliver, and if you don't develop and cultivate that customer relationship, and that goes again from your delivery team to your service team to your rentals team, sales team, your back office team, whoever interacts at every touch point with that customer needs to have a seamless experience and a positive one to make an impact for that customer to come back.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Number 4.
Sorry, the number 4 thing an aerial rental business needs to do to be successful.
Be successful. I think obviously, buy the right equipment at the right time.
That's usually helpful.
Yeah, usually helpful. Have a well-balanced fleet.
Okay.
To be able to service said customers. Number 3, be forward thinkers. Always looking ahead and at how you can differentiate yourself from the market. Because one of the things with the rental industry, specifically with heavy equipment, is pretty much everyone's got the same thing.
Yeah.
Scissor lift is a scissor lift. Earth moving equipment is earth moving equipment. So how can you make your customer experience different so that they'll come back and rent from you and not from ABC? 2.
Unless you are with ABC, because there's a lot of companies out there
Yeah,
named ABC.
ABC,
So
yeah.
If you're with them, then you want them to come to ABC. All right, number 2.
Number 2, developing a positive company culture, because that's going to drive your number 1.
Okay, well, the number 1 thing
So the number
that an
1
equipment rental place needs in order to be successful is
employees that, how do I want to phrase this? Taking care of your employees. They are your internal customer. And I think it was Sir Richard Branson who said, if you take care of your employees, they will take care of your customers. Mm-hmm. And so if you start there, the employees will drive the owners will drive the culture, which then bleeds into the employees. And that then will bleed out that level of service and that level of inclusivity and that experience throughout every touch point in the transaction will positively impact your customer.
Yeah, anytime you have a good time with someone, you want to come back and hang out with them a little more and do a
Exactly.
little more business with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your top 5 list. Now it's time for the important questions. Everything I asked before, I'm sorry, it was
It's
not
meaningless.
important. We just wasted all this time.
5 important questions.
5 important questions.
5 important questions.
Okay, just so you're prepared, the first important question is kind of a heavy question, so it may require some thinking, all right? What would you say is your greatest success in life?
Oh, man. Professionally or personally?
I leave
For
it up to you.
both?
You can go with both. You can say one or the other.
Oh, man. I'm going to go really general here.
Okay.
I think just overall achieving
Let's
my
just add,
goals.
let's just say that the caveat is, of course, family and all of that.
Yeah, of course. No, having my children was the greatest success. Yeah, of course they are, but they're also pains in the butt. So, whatever. I'd say achieving my goals to date. Sometimes I look back and think, wow, I didn't know I had it in me to come this far. But I have. And the sky's the limit.
Awesome.
For me, anyway.
I was going to say, I like that the sky's the limit, and you rent all these things that go actually up to the sky.
I like
Very
that.
fancy.
Well done, Brian.
All right. If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice when you started your career, what would it be?
Have more confidence in myself and speak up for myself more.
But I don't know if you would then have your greatest success, which is where you.
I think I probably would have achieved it sooner.
Oh,
I was a little bit of a late bloomer.
okay.
I think because I wasn't sure of myself. I didn't really believe that I could do what I'm doing now and understand it the way I do. Like I guess have the perspective that I have now. And I think that comes from maturity as well.
Yeah. I also feel like, especially at that point where you're saying where it was really tough and there's a whole bunch of new stuff and you were concerned, it's like, it's going to be okay, Sandra.
Yeah. I mean, I remember early on, even just in my public accounting days, if a partner or a manager criticized me, even though it was professionally, said something, gave me a poor review, or, if I didn't do well on a file, I would probably fall apart in tears. Whereas, 20 years later, if someone, does that to me, it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll do that next time. Don't be a dummy. Okay, move on. Now I learned.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely had that same mentality, and that's a good one. What is your most embarrassing moment in your career?
I'm sure I've had many.
I was going to say,
try not to
no one
remember
else
them,
knows.
Brian.
Yeah, well, no one else knows, so you could pick like the second most and just hide the most.
Embarrassing? Oh, would it be terrible to say I really don't remember? Oh my gosh.
Wow, it's a repressed memory. Okay, well,
It's definitely repressed deep down in the basement.
okay, well, we don't have time to do a whole therapy thing and try to like hypnotize you and do all
That'd
that.
probably be the only way you'd get it out of me.
Okay. Well, it kind of ruins the next one a little bit, but sorry, you've been sentenced to death. Not having an embarrassing moment is now a capital offense. It's a weird law. I'm sorry, but you do get a last meal. And what would you like your last meal to be?
Anything pasta.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love pasta.
So there's not you don't have a rating order of pastas. It's just all
pastas.
all the time.
I love pasta. Give me the carbs.
Okay. Would you like a beverage with this pasta?
Yes, a lovely glass of Cab Sauv.
Okay. Any dessert?
Dessert?
Let's
Creme
round this whole
brulee.
thing out. Okay.
Creme brulee.
Perfect. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Again, this is a snap change.
Snap change?
Yeah, you don't have to you don't have to work at it or anything. It's just boom.
This is a little bit taller.
All right. I wish I was a little bit taller. I like it.
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about the rental industry, what would it be?
Oh.
Again, another snap change. You can make
Snap
it, and
change?
everyone just automatically, everything happens the way you asked for it.
That all customers could get on account easily and just pay their bills.
That's
Just
a good
pay your
wish.
bills.
Everything will be so much easier.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your spirit spice?
Which is my what? Sorry?
No one knows what a spirit spice is, so I usually
What is
have to
my
explain
spirit
this.
spice?
It's like a spirit animal, but like what
Oh.
spice embodies you? Usually people just say whatever their favorite spice is.
You know, I don't have a favorite spice, but the first one that came to mind was cinnamon.
Okay, why are you like cinnamon?
Oh. I'd say I'm a little sweet. I add flavor, but it's subtle
Okay.
in the right proportions.
Yes, as long as you're not doing that like cinnamon challenge of like a tablespoon or a teaspoon or whatever, and you
Oh.
just do the whole thing. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, tell me a secret about the rental industry.
Secret. I don't know if there are, but
Don't worry, if you're outside the rental industry, you don't know that much about rentals, so it's pretty easy to find a secret.
a
'Cause
secret. Can I say there's a lot of poaching going on?
okay,
It's not unheard of. I mean, sometimes you don't know what's going on, but it is.
you were
Everyone's talking to everybody, but not from another
That's
rental company.
true. Yeah. Well, I mean, you need that. You want that person with that expertise, and it's like, well, how am I going to get this person?
Yeah.
Unless they're already trained by someone else. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Andrew, our videographer, and I like to go around and visit customers. So if we were to visit you guys, what would you say you do really well with point of rental?
Really well.
Yeah, where we would want to come in and showcase that.
Our rental coordinators use point of rental really, really well. We've made huge improvements in our dispatch center in using that. Our shop service, all of our technicians do their make-readies right on point of rental. They open them. The rental return comes in. They open it. They do it. They close it. It's our operations team works really well with it. But I would definitely say our rental department.
All right, good. Well, I would hope that the rental department is using point of rental.
Yeah, yeah. But they're using it very well.
Good.
All facets of it, and yeah.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I wanted to talk to you about you do bring in Sean for consulting. So why is it important to you to have that refresher like every year?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, as you bring on new staff, even though they are, we do give them the 2-hour supplementary training when they come on board. Things are moving so fast in operations that sometimes you get stuck in the ways, and they don't always have an opportunity to look at the release notes, and I'll send them out snippets of what I think could affect them, but they're moving so quickly. I really don't think they have time to do that.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on them. They have far more important things to do. So, and they don't always have the time to stop to ask the questions. And they don't have time to, go on to ULearn or into the training portal and, I've got an hour, I'm going to, do a quick training video, or I'm going to look something up. They'll call me and ask me to look into it for them so they can carry on with their day.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that. So having Sean come in, and when he used to do the training, we would rotate the staff so that we always had coverage, and carving out that time to dedicate with Sean so they can ask their questions, things that I might not be able to ask or know to ask because I'm not in the thick of things with them.
Yeah.
They really, really appreciate that. With the consulting that he's now doing, they actually said to me that they like that better than when it was the training.
Yeah.
Because he was, in their war zone with them, fielding the questions and asking and watching. And so they were able to, instantly get responses for their questions.
Yeah, that way there's some like level of memory where you're in that spot and you're associated with like being in that spot. And it's like, oh yeah, I had that problem, and that you wouldn't remember to bring it to a meeting.
100%. Yeah, because they're not going to remember to write it down, and a week later it's gone because they're just too busy.
Yeah, it's always like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I'll just carry on doing it the way I'm doing it.
Yeah. Okay, I've asked you a lot of questions. You can ask me one question
I can ask you one
if
question.
you would like to.
How did you get into, doing all of the production and get into marketing? I think we touched on this a little bit in like side conversations.
Yeah, so, long ago, I was going to do urban and regional planning. My dad was a traffic engineer, so I kind of grew up around like city level government. And it's like, that always seemed like fun. And then when I was actually doing my first class for that, there was, like, the first class is like kind of developing your philosophy of how you want to develop, cities and whatnot. And I was also taking another philosophy class at the same time. And I was like, you know what? I do want to pursue the things that I love, and I really do like writing. And then I got into journalism, and then it's like every class is like, there's no jobs in journalism. They don't pay anything, and you're on call 24/7, and it's really didn't seem very appealing. So I got into marketing, so I could still have the creativity and do a lot of fun stuff, but there was consistent writing and a variety of things that I could do.
Did you ever think that?
Well, I said one question. Gosh.
Oh no, I'm asking you another one. Did you ever think that within the realm of marketing, you would be doing, live digital marketing podcasts and
Me, no.
and your, I think you have the other one. Oh, you do. Is it not the blog?
I do blogs, but
You do, yeah.
I definitely thought I was going to be more producer, like on the back end of things.
Yeah.
And the original host of the Front Porch left. She went to go become a stay-at-home mom, and she lives on a ranch and has a good time, and then just the ease of coordinating meetings. It was like, all right, look, I know when I'm available. Then I don't have to coordinate both sides. I can just coordinate me and this one person, and I can pretty much make myself available to a person whenever they need to be available. So
Excellent.
I do this, yeah. All right, well, thank you, Sandra.
You're
for
very
joining me
welcome.
today.
Very welcome. It was a pleasure.
Good. And for anyone that made it the whole time with us, thank you for watching. We'll have the porch light burning for you. I definitely nailed that one.